What is happening? UFC Kansas City is upon us. After a week without the UFC, we get this pretty damn good fight night in Kansas City, Missouri. KCMO, headlined by Carlos Prates versus Ian Gary. Hopefully Ian Gary doesn't sneak to join up, right? What is up, people in the live chat? It is Nick. He will be attending UFC Kansas City. That's right. And UFC Iowa, right? Isn't that right? Good to see my homie, legendary SS Jackson. He said, we're turning the tides on our factory bosses to this track. Dude, that intro is so sick. I'm so stoked on that. That's okay. By the way, that's that song like that Vietnamese guy was rapping to that like went viral. Just love that beat. I was wondering when you were gonna stream again. Dude, I've been streaming all weekend. Did a bunch of Japanese kickboxing, Japanese MMA deep with my good pal Isha over on the City Life Project. So been streaming, buddy. Just look at my lives, man. I've been going hard. Gonna bring MMA Nerd back too. You'll be there for both. I'll jump on the fight companion if you need. Well, you're gonna be at the event, so I'm actually going to Seattle. I have to help a family member do some siding. It'll be very exciting. Get it? Ha. So I don't know. I might be able to do a fight companion, but I don't know, honestly. Looking forward to this UFC. Kind of missed it on Saturday. You're right. It's funny, like we always complain about the UFC being terrible. And then, it's like absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? So it is what it is. But yeah, we're going to get into the picks and preview all that fun stuff. First pick of the night. Oh, sorry. If you do, I'll be down to be live for either event. Danes and Casey, Nick in Des Moines. Look, man, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do a post show, and you be on the post show, and you tell me about your live experience for both events, all right? Because, I mean, you don't want to be doing a fight companion while you're at the event. You'd be way ahead of me. The broadcast is delayed, and YouTube's delayed. So, like, You know? Anyway. What do Bryce Mitchell and Adolf have in common? Well, they're both white. I wonder if you know what? I bet you Adolf probably had some jiu-jitsu skills as well, right? I mean, are we counting that out? Let me know. Let me know. All right, sounds good, bro. They both tapped out early. Wow. Oh, wow. Is that Andrew A, by the way? You always change your name. It's Jandaroba's dad now, and it's freaking what's his name? What was that guy's name from Mr. Deeds? Crazy Eyes, I think. Hilarious. He might have the better facial hair. Yeah, but he also kind of ruined that mustache for life, right? Like nobody else can really ever have that mustache. Like Charlie Chaplin was rocking that mustache back in the day, and then Adolf just ruined it for everybody. Facts. I always hated when PBC had a YouTuber broadcaster. Yeah, exactly. Like you can't do a fight companion from the venue. Do you think Big H was right after the Hank escapade? Who is Big H? Good to see you, by the way, not in the AM, bro. Chaplin did it best. I'm saying. Yeah, let me know who Big H is after that Hank escapade. It was definitely an escapade. Let's get into the picks though. Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards at bantamweight. Chelsea Chandler, as everybody knows, as the track star, is 6-3. She is plus 165 as the underdog. 3-2 in her last 5. 34 years old out of Stockton. 34 actually. Training out of Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Going up against Jocelyn Edwards. 14-6. 3-2 in her last 5 as well. Minus 205 as the favorite. 29 years old from Panama. So here's the thing. Chelsea Chandler, to me, is not really like the worst fighter ever. I think that she's a front runner, though. Like when the going gets tough, she has a hard time recovering from that, you know, like turning the tide of a fight. Jocelyn Edwards is a more solid, consistent fighter. So I don't know. I am tempted to pick Chelsea Chandler here. If you look at Tapology, 90% of Tapology is picking Jocelyn Edwards. And I mean, I get it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that Chelsea Chandler is the worst underdog on this card. She's got decent striking. I think that where she shines the most is with her ground and pound, when she can actually get you to the mat. But again, Jocelyn Edwards, the more solid fighter all around. I feel like Chelsea Chandler has a bigger frame. So even though they're both 5'8", I feel like Chelsea Chandler will be the bigger girl in there on Saturday night. Let me know what you guys are feeling for this one. I'm gonna pick Jocelyn Edwards by decision, but I think that Chelsea Chandler wins the round. She wins the first round, and then second and third, Jocelyn Edwards wins. 29-28, she gets the W. Look at this motley crew. Good to see you, Mr. Granite. Mr. Call today. It's very early in the morning, so let me get back to you. Read what Charlie said for your answer. What? Charlie Chaplin? Let me know who Big H is. Oh, ha! Oh, wow. That is incredibly racist there. Not the AM, bro. Chelsea Chandler. Yeah, I mean, look. Who was she running? Yes. But it was against Norma Dumont. Okay, Norma Dumont is she's the best fighter in women's bantamweight. Should be the champion already. Like we're gonna knock her for that. Plus, she got a giant dump truck. Also, she's dating Marco Tullio. So it's like, hey, Marco Tullio looked great. He's dating the dump truck herself. I mean, coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. She knows the Stockton slap. Not worse than Nico Montano. Yeah, granted in the house. She only had one good fight. She's like McTapping meets adversity, then folds. I mean, you know what, man? I'm not super like everybody clowns on Chelsea Chandler. Is she gonna be champion? No. Is she gonna lose to Norma Dumont? Yes, but she's really not the worst fighter ever, man. Considering picking her actually, but yeah, you gotta go Jocelyn Edwards, man. Definitely the more solid fighter. Norma Junk in the Dumont. I'm asking what you think. It's not racist. On the AM, bro. I mean, this is not the this is not the place to have that conversation. DM me. We could talk about it. All right. Let's get to the next one. Timmy Kawamba versus Roberto Romero at featherweight. Timmy Kawamba is 8-3, 3-2 in his last 5. This is a pick'em. He is 26 years old. 5'9", 71-inch reach. He is going up against Roberto Romero, 8-4-1, -120. 3-2 in his last. Why is everyone 3-2 in their last 5? He is from Chihuahua, Mexico. 25 years old. 5'8". So Roberto Romero having lots of fights in Combate Global. He made his debut 4 months ago against David Onama. I believe that was on short notice as well. Timmy Kawamba did get a decision win in Contender Series. I can't remember if he got signed or not. I guess not, because he had a fight in Tough Enough. But since then, he's lost a split to Oki and a decision to Lucas Almeida. Obviously, both these men very young. Looking for their first win in the UFC. I mean, you lose in a decision to Lucas Almeida in the year of our Lord 2025, or I guess that was 2024 because it was 9 months ago. And then Romero going the distance with Onama looked pretty good in that fight as well. I think Timmy Kawamba has some skills everywhere, but in this particular matchup, I'm thinking the good pick here is Roberto Romero. And again, he is -120, so he's technically the favorite, even though this is a pick'em. I'm gonna go Romero here, get his first win in the UFC, but I think that the odds are pretty accurate on this one. So the choice is really yours. Let me know what you guys are thinking for this fight. I like Hank, by the way. Yeah, that's cool. Good for you. I mean, he did go off on Captain Rafuko, though. I mean, Rafuko is like the coolest guy ever. Good to see Captain Rafuko, by the way. Okay. The next fight is Jacqueline Amarim versus Polyana Viana at strawweight. Jacqueline Amarim, 9-1, 4-1 in her last 5, -360 as a favorite. 29 years old, training at American Top Team. Polyana Viana, 13-7 on 2-fight losing streak. She is 2-3 in her last 5, plus 285 as the dog, fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. 32 years old. So Polyana Viana, I mean, she has looked very good early on in her career, but then you kind of look back at her record here. 4 years ago, Mallory Martin, she subs. Don't even think she's in the UFC. Goes the distance with Tabitha Ricci after Ricci was coming off of a really good run in LFA. She knocks out Jinyu Frey, who is smallest fighter that was on the roster. I'd be surprised if she's even in the UFC anymore. Loses by sub to Lucindo and gets knocked out by Jillian Robertson. I mean, who gets knocked out by Jillian Robertson? Amarim, though, gets a sub in LFA. That gets her in the UFC. She loses a decision to Sam Hughes. But Sam Hughes is like the prospect tester, right? Sam Hughes betting against Sam Hughes will bite you in the ass. So I don't really, and that was the only loss in her career, right? So I don't really count that against her. Since then, she knocks out Montserrat Ruiz, gets a sub over Corey McKenna, and then subs Vanessa Dumopoulos. So Poliana Viana is actually a decent test for Jacqueline Amarim because you beat Demopoulos, Conejo, and Corey McKenna, who is literally only in the UFC because she trains with Uriah Faber. I don't even think she just doesn't have any killer instinct, right? So this is actually a decent test to see the way that this fight will play out. Will give you a good idea of the prospects for Jacqueline Amarim. Poliana Viana is just that girl that, I mean, she looks really good. But she hasn't really done much with her UFC opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Some people were saying that she should probably just transition full-time to OnlyFans, and I'm not against that. So anyway, what I'm saying is you pick Jacqueline Amarim by decision. Possible submission here, though, because you know that Viana's going to want to play jiu-jitsu. She did get subbed by Lucindo and knocked out by Robinson. So maybe checking out the odds on the sub here. Not the worst idea. But yeah, I'm going to go the safe route and pick Jacqueline Amarim by decision. And by the way, this is a good time to remind everybody that got a Tapology group. Join it. Make some picks. Whoever gets the most wins at the end of the year got $100 for you. So let's check it out. I find this crash out center. Yeah, who doesn't? I hit the laugh button 50 million times. I took Romero, a lot of underdog cities on this card. Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, this is the first time I'm actually looking at the card. So, but there's always underdogs that win on cards, and sometimes it's more than not. So our girl Poliana taking me out for barbecue after the win. Wow, okay, interesting. Is McKenna still in the UFC? I thought she was signed to GFL Team Rapid City. Yeah, making up fake GFL teams is Nick's favorite pastime. Can you imagine if there was a Rapid City, South Dakota GFL team? How terrible would that be? She might not be in the UFC anymore, but I doubt she'd be on the GFL Rapid City team. She's not 100 years old. Viana has been railed by half the roster. Really? Interesting. Did you see I got first in Tapology? I did. Congratulations, but you joined late. You joined after the card. So it's actually Kiwi gets the first dub. But yeah, man. Join the Tapology League. Make the picks, man. You can say they had locomotives. All right. Next pick. It'll be Cameron Simon versus Malcolm Wellmaker at bantamweight. Cameron Simon 9-2, 3-2 in his last 5 on a 2-fight losing streak. The odds are pretty even here. Cameron Simon, just the slightest of underdog. He is fighting out of South Africa. He's 24 years old, 5'8", 67-inch reach. Malcolm Wellmaker is undefeated. He is minus 130 as the favorite, 30 years old, from Augusta, Georgia, and he's 5'10". So 71.5-inch reach, by the way. So he's going to be taller and longer reach than Cameron Simon, who, when he came in the UFC, he was obviously a training partner of Dricus. It looked really good. His last win was over Terrence Mitchell a year and 9 months ago. Then he loses to C-Rod, and then he gets just absolutely. You want to talk about Polyana Viana getting railed by half the UFC roster? Cameron Simon got railed by Peyton Talbot. I know Peyton Talbot plays for the other team, but he really just beat the absolute hell out of poor Cameron Simon. And it was interesting to see two prospects kind of go up against each other. But that fight really accentuated the dangers of putting two young prospects up against each other. Cameron Simon got absolutely derailed by that fight and hasn't even fought in a year. So now he's back. Malcolm Wellmaker, on the other hand, he got in the UFC 7 months ago by getting a sick knockout on Contender Series. So we don't know much about him as far as high level experience goes. Hasn't really had any. We've seen Cameron Simon do some good things in the UFC, but again, I don't know how much that Peyton Talbot beating really messed with his mental state heading into this fight. So this is, and I understand why this fight's even. Guy coming in off a sick knockout. I mean, the one thing though is that Cameron Wallmaker is 30 years old, so they're going to give him Cameron Simon, see how good he does. He has a more developed game at this point. The one thing I do know about Cameron Simon is he's a straight dog. Like, he's going to go in there, he's going to be kill or be killed. He's going to do or die. Again, Cameron Wellmaker, 8-0, split decision, KO, and NFC, the prestigious NFC. Fighting in promotions we really have no idea about, but this is his opportunity. The reach gives me some pause. I do know that Cameron Simon is pretty well-rounded. I'm going to actually pick Cameron Simon here to go to a decision. Hopefully he's been working on some stuff. I know it's crazy picking Cameron Simon in this fight. If we look at Tapology, it's pretty close on Tapology. More people picking Wellmaker, and you can see that even Tapology is a little more tentative on what exactly Cameron Simon will be doing in there. 13% of people have him by knockout. But look how many people are picking Cameron Wellmaker by knockout. I think he's just going to run through Cameron Simon. I think this is really Cameron Simon's last opportunity to show us that he's UFC material. I'm also picking him a little bit because, Dricus is the champ now. He's going to get a little bit of that rub, you know what I'm saying, training with old Dricus Duplessis. So, yeah, give me Cameron Simon in this one. I joined before. You just didn't. Oh, okay. Well, still, I have to give it to Kiwi. Just based off principle. So you never let me know that you joined. Rigged. Hey, I'm sorry, man. Win the next couple ones, man, and who knows? Night Train, Nate the Train. No, Nate the Train's not fighting on this card. Shout to M1 Global. Who's going to UFC? KC, not basement incels. Yeah, I'm definitely not going. So maybe I'm a basement incel. Kentucky Fried Championships. UFC KC is missing out so much on KFC marketing. Oh my gosh. You're a genius, SS Jackson. Yeah, KFC. Let's go. Who did Cameron Simon piss off in the UFC? He only gets booked against really good prospects. Well, I think, you know what? That's a good point. My biggest theory is that he just got what the hell, Siri? My biggest theory, my running theory, is that he probably got a decent payday. So when the pay scale is the way it is, they match you up really tough. And I that's my personal opinion. Probably got a good deal because he's training with Dricus. Yeah, you have a good point there. Kandaroba's dad. Yeah, he does get tough prospects, doesn't he? I think this is a make or break fight for him, though. Yeah, hit the like. Thank you, SS Jackson. Simon says you're dead. Dane will give you mescaline. That is true. There is a rumor that Dana hates South Africans. Well, I don't believe anything Dana White says. So, spirit animal is the polar bear. Yeah, that doesn't shock me. Kansas City ain't Kentucky. Yeah, but KFC, that makes sense to me. It made sense when I read it out loud, but now, you know what? Degenerate Dane's kind of derailing your whole thing you got going on there. All right, let's get to the next pick. Damone Blackshear versus Alatong Haley. At bantamweight, Damone Blackshear 16-7, 3-2 in his last 5 on a 2-fight win streak. Before that, on a 2-fight losing streak. He is 30 years old from Fayetteville, North Carolina. 5'10", 72.2 inch reach. That's kind of a weird number. Alatong Haley 17-9-2. How do you have 2 draws, sir? Plus 265 as the underdog here. He is 3-1-1 in his last 5. Last getting a dub over Clayton Rodriguez. Maybe Rodriguez. I don't know where he's from. Last loss to Chris Gutierrez. He knocked out Kevin Kroom. That was a good fight. He is obviously from China. 5'5", 66.5 inch reach. Alatong Haley is another one of these guys that I have no confidence in. And you can see neither does Tapology. 95% of people are picking Damone Blackshear, and majority of them are picking him by submission. I do think that Alatong Haley is still tough. I think if there was to be a sub, it would be after the first round. Thing about this fight is Alatong Haley is mostly a striker. He did lose to a really good kickboxer in Chris Gutierrez, who is fighting on this card as well. If you can stop the takedown of Damone Blackshear, I think you have a chance of beating him. But, I mean, the odds are so wide for a reason. Damone Blackshear, definitely just a much better fighter in this contest. You know what? What am I doing? I got to pick Damone Blackshear by sub. I think we'll go second round sub. I'm going to pick him to continue his sub streak. Subbing Cody Gibson is not easy. That was 4 weeks ago. What? Oh, I don't remember that. And subbing Cody Stamen, the guy that wanted to wrestle with him. But I do value him getting that sub over Cody Gibson. Why is he fighting? Why is he fighting on a 4-week turnaround? What the hell is going on? Is he fighting on short notice? Am I just tripping? Let me see. Gotta be, right? Let me check the card really quick. No, what the hell? That's weird. Why is he fighting so fast again? Oh, what the hell? I have no idea. I'm picking Damone Blackshear by sub. He's fresh. Yeah, give me Damone Blackshear. Who are you guys picking in this fight? It's in, yeah. That's true. It is in Missouri. Kentucky is only like 6 hours. That's not far. Screw Kevin 2. Guy took my boy's wife. What? Quick walk. Tim Elliott says screw Kevin Kroom. All right. Hey, you know what? Kevin Kroom was a fun fighter though. Fast turnaround, right? Don't remember seeing that fight on the card a few weeks ago. Must be short notice. Very strange. Also, they're just kind of bringing Alatong Haley out, feed him to the wolves. Kind of strange.
My talent. Idaho. I loved you.
I don't think I know any fighter on this card. Really? You're worse than me. You know what? Just trust in my pick. Trust in like half of my picks. if like pick half of my picks. All right, I have a better like win percentage than losing percentage. I think I'm at like 65%. Not bad. But yeah, cold blooded. Imagine that. Did I just imagine that? No, that was real. Need more Hankisms. I think we got enough. We got 4. That's plenty. That's plenty. Can't overdo it. Next fight is Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Is that featherweight? We got lots of lower weight class fights in this card, which is good. Chris Gutierrez, who, by the way, I actually saw in Denver. I saw him in Denver. I was taking a piss. I was drunk. And I saw him. And I go, hey, aren't you Gabriel Benitez? And he's like, no, I'm not. And I was like, oh, okay. Super awkward. But yes, Chris Gutierrez is 21-5-2. He is 3-2 in his last 5. Win-loss. This is a pick'em. Pick'em as pick'em gets, by the way. -115 for both men. 34 years old, out of Denver, Colorado. 5'9", 67-inch reach. Factory X Muay Thai. Pretty damn good gym there. John Castaneda, 21-7. He is 3-2 in his last 5. Last fought, let's see, 10 months ago against Daniel Marcos, losing a decision. 33 years old, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 5'6", 71-inch reach. Funny that Chris Gutierrez has a much smaller reach than Castaneda in this one.
Easy, but just because you get more picks right doesn't mean you're better at predictions than me.
No, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what that means. We are in Hank's Genjutsu. I've been thinking the same thing. SS Jackson for quite a while now. Hank living in my head, but I'm charging him rents. Unlike his parents. So yeah, funny that Chris Gutierrez is like gonna have the smaller reach, but he's the much better kickboxer. Obvious pick here is Chris Gutierrez for me. The only problem is that John Castaneda is actually very good at mixing it up, and I think he fights at a very high pace. So it'd be interesting to see how Chris Gutierrez tries to slow him down. It'll be with the leg kicks first and foremost. I don't pick either man to get a decision, to get a finish here. This fight definitely goes to decision. Maybe check the odds to see what the decision prop is. Maybe it's decent. I would go with the money line on this one. I have never been high on John Castaneda. And he did lose to Daniel Marcos, who very similar as far as the kickboxing goes to Chris Gutierrez and with the kicks in general. But I think Daniel Marcos has more power than Chris Gutierrez. Let's check out some of Castaneda's wins. Subbing Miles Johns is a fantastic win. Muin Gafarov and Kyung Ho Kang, those are terrible wins. Chris Gutierrez, they fed Frankie Edgar to him. That was sad. Loses to Pedro Munoz, who has a very similar style to him. Beats Elatong Lee, loses to Sung Yadong, and he beats Kwang Lee, who is a terrible fighter. So yeah, I mean, Chris Gutierrez, more high-level experience. Both men are of a similar age. And when I say high-level experience, he's just fought the better guys, right? Was higher ranked than Castaneda has ever been. I'm going Gutierrez here. I think he's going to keep it at distance and just get this done. I mean, 29-28, Chris Gutierrez, maybe a split, but I've never really been confident in John Castaneda, but I think if he mixes it up, he can get the win here. This is a tough one to pick for me, and that's why it is a pick 'em. Read some more comments. By the way, Mom is a great cook. All right, cool, man. Yeah, nothing like mom's cooking. Gutierrez fought on the last KC card and lost, if I recall. That's right. Pedro beat him. Yeah. He's got the KC curse. Can't win. Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? Okay, I only remember Gutierrez because of how they fed Frankie to him. That was so fucking terrible, dude. And Frankie just got flying knee KO'd in like a minute. Man. It makes me sick to my stomach. Or is it that ball duck that I ate earlier? I ate that 2X ball duck. Ugh. I couldn't finish it. It was brutal. I'm making the KC curse a real thing now. Wow. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. If the KC curse is real, then Chris Gutierrez loses. I hate that I remember that now. That's what I'm here for, buddy. I'm here to just bring up all your worst memories. By the way, not even a month in, and my live viewership is like basically the same. Dude, I'm so stoked. Thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Next pick will be Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Evan Elder, 9-2, is 3-2 in his last 5. 28 years old, 5'10", 71-inch reach, Killcliff FC. This is who he's fighting out of. This is Jim. Gage Young, 9-2. Fighting out of Missouri. Makes sense. Lights on the card. 24 years old, 5'9", 70-inch reach. Gage Young lost the decision on Contender Series to Colin Salkild. That's a mouthful there. But dude was getting knockouts on his regional, and he's just coming off of a knockout 4 months ago. Evan Elder fought in that same regional, which is weird. Since then, he loses to Preston Parsons, gets knocked out by Nas, beats Gennaro Valdez a year and a half ago, and then he subs Darius Flowers. So again, Evan Elder, the more developed game, has some UFC experience, has some UFC rounds. Gage Young, just a dude that got knockouts on the regional, lost on Contender Series. If we check out there's no odds for this one on Tapology, but you can see here on Tap, pretty much everybody's going Elder. Nobody's really picking Gage Young. And reasonably so, everybody's going to pick Elder to get it done by decision. That's because his wins are against guys that aren't good. So yeah, this will be a good lightweight prospect heat check. You know what I'm saying? Lightweight, the deepest division in the sport. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, for my money, I'm gonna go Evan Elder. Like I said, just has the more UFC experience, and we did see when Gage took a step up in competition, which was the Contender Series. Which, by the way, is that really a step up in competition? It's basically like Dana White's regional fighters series. So yeah, I'm going to go Evan Elder here, not knowing anything about Gage Young. But it is kind of impressive that the guy's gotten straight knockouts. So guy's got some power, obviously. We'll see if that can make a difference in this fight. I will say that fight wasn't on the original card either. Interesting. Neither was this fight. I got to update my card. Iowa's own Darius Flowers. I'm picking Gage. Really? Why are you picking Gage? Not in the AM, bro. Change your name back to not in the AM, bro. I'm not gonna read boob. Yeah, I mean, Gage Young, and the guy's 24. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, lightweight prospect heat check. Should be a great fight. I love me some lightweight MMA. Who doesn't, right? The next fight will be Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick at flyweight. Matt Schnell on a 3-fight losing streak. He is 16-9, minus 295 is the favorite out of Shreveport, Louisiana. 5'8", 70-inch reach. Jimmy Flick, 17-8. He is 3-2 in his last 5, plus 225 as the underdog. He is from Oklahoma, 34 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. So Jimmy Flick last lost a decision to Nate Maness 9 months ago. Year and 2 months ago, he subbed Malcolm Gordon. But he had a long layoff. He flying triangle Durden, and then had a 2-year layoff. Lost by knockout to Charles Johnson and Alessandro Costa. beats Malcolm Gordon, loses to Nate Maness. Matt Schnell, man, always fun, but it's about time for him to hang it up. And I thought he was rumored to hang it up after he got ninja choked by Durden 7 months ago. So I like this fight for both men because, old vet fight. Both men pretty washed, pretty chinny. So we got chinny, washed, old flyweights in this fight. But that's the kind of fights I want to see, though. Quit giving Matt Schnell guys like fucking. I mean, look who he's lost to: Royval, Nicolau, Urseg, and Durden. Like, yeah, come on, dude. So for me, that's the reason why he is such a huge favorite on this one. I'm picking Matt Schnell. I'm picking him to get it done by knockout. 3rd round knockout. I think they'll go back and forth. Matt Schnell will eventually just beat down old Jimmy Flick. I don't think Jimmy Flick can sub Matt Schnell, and that's really the only chance he has to win. I think Matt Schnell has decent enough jiu-jitsu skills that he won't get subbed by Jimmy Flick. And I think by the time he's exhausted all of his options in the 3rd round, it'll be too late, and Matt Schnell will end up getting it done by ground and pound TKO. Give me Matt Schnell. Maybe check out the odds on that. Matt is from next door. I'll root for Matt. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm not reading that, but okay. Should be a fun grappling match. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing too, is like, I thought Matt Schnell was going to retire. He did just get subbed in his last fight, so maybe. But the pace that Cody Durden puts on, I think, is hard for a lot of guys to keep up. So I have confidence in Matt Schnell here. I saw Schnell beat Luis Smolka live. Great fight. Yeah, Matt Schnell is always in a fun fight, man. Jimmy Flick, too. All right. Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz at middleweight. Ikram Aliskerov, 15-2. He last lost to Robert Whitaker, got knocked out immediately by Robert Whitaker. Minus 625 as the favorite. God damn. He is from Makhachkala, Russia. Shout out to Dagestan, 32 years old, 6 foot, 76-inch reach. Andre Muniz is 24-6. He is 3-2 in his last 5. 35 years old, 6'1", 78-inch reach. Last beating the Iron Turtle, I think. Yeah, right? Jung Young Park, yeah. By split. A lot of people thought Park should have gotten that one done. He got knocked out by Paul Craig and subbed by Brendan Allen. But before that, he was on a sick... actually, no, he wasn't. He was getting some subs, beat Uriah Hall. Shit, dude. Poor old Andre Muniz is getting thrown to the wolves here. Ikram Aliskerov was looking like that dude. He got some wins over in Eagle FC, gets in the UFC off Contender Series by a sub, knocks Phil Hawes out and knocks Worley Alves out. Then he gets a fight with Whitaker and he gets knocked out immediately. So both of these guys really haven't fought a lot of good competition in the middleweight division. Ikram Aliskerov was on a roll though. Before getting knocked out by Whitaker, and actually he was the favorite in that fight. You gotta go Ikram here. I think, let me see here. Yeah, Paul Craig knocked out Andre Muniz, but Paul Craig, he can get a crazy knockout from time to time. Man. You don't know how Ikram's... I mean, honestly, dude, Ikram got knocked out so quick against Whitaker. I think you can't really count that against him too much. I'm pretty confident Ikram gets the win. The question is how. I think the decision obviously is always the safe bet. But I am going to go a little more risque and pick him by 2nd round knockout. Muniz had a lot of potential a few years ago. Right. Worley Alves moved up 15 pounds for that. That's right. He was a welterweight. But yeah, Worley Alves was pretty washed by the time he fought Ikram. So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping Ikram gets it done and gets a knockout because having movement in a division is always good, and he was a hot prospect. How does anyone get KO'd by Paul Craig? Here, let's see. Paul Craig. The reason is because the guy is so unorthodox. Let me see. He actually has one. You know what? No. 2, 3, 4. He has 4 knockouts, but 2 of those. One was that Jamal Hill one where he broke his arm. And then one was fucking Shogun. So you know what? That's actually a good idea. This guy got fucking knocked out by Paul Craig. No way he doesn't get knocked out by Ikram, right? You know what? You convinced me, granted. I had to look it up to believe it. The Paul Craig KO was an accident. Might have been a skateboard involved. Yeah, that was my bad. Brought my skateboard to the event. Yeah. What the hell? This guy got knocked out by Paul Craig. What am I thinking? Ikram Alaskarov definitely knocks him out. All right, let's move on. Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby at welterweight. This is a sick fight. Randy Rude Boy Brown's 19-6. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He's -205 as the favorite. Representing Jamaica, but fighting out of Queens, New York. 34 years old, 6'3", 78-inch reach. Going up against old Nicholas Dalby from Denmark. He is 4-1 in his last 5, plus 170 as the underdog, 40 years old, 5'11", 74.5-inch reach. I mean, obviously Randy Brown, the much bigger fighter in this fight. Nicholas Dalby, 40 years old, but man, he still looks damn good every time he goes out there to fight. Got a split decision over Renat Fakhratinov. A lot of people thought he won. Knocking out Bonfim. Beats Salikov by decision. Beats Worley Alves by split. Claudio Silva. Those are his 4 wins before his last loss. But yeah, I mean, Randy Brown gets subbed by Jack Della Maddalena. He got rocked before that too. Beats a man named Wellington Turman, that guy from Brazil, knocking out Muslim Salikov, beating Elizeu Zaleski by decision, and then losing a split to Brian Battle. So the 40-year-old Nicholas Dalby, is he worth the dog money? I think he's not the worst dog. Randy Brown, another one of those guys that I feel like is a front runner. Has a hard time fighting back from adversity. Nicholas Dalby, on the other hand, this guy will fight to the death. It doesn't matter if he is down 2 rounds heading into the 30s, still trying to head kick you, throwing spinny shit. Man, it's hard to pick a guy. I mean, he is 40, but this says at middleweight, which is not a great division. Randy Brown looked decent coming into the UFC. Then he got matched up with like the bigger prospects of the division and loses. I don't think Nicholas Dalby is one of the bigger prospects of the division. I would actually, honestly, as much as my Danish friends are going to hate it, I would put him on the same level with guys like Salikov and Zaleski, right? So going a split decision with Brian Battle, who is coming really into form now, you got to go Randy Brown by decision here. I know Nicholas Dalby will be fighting, but I think that I honestly think that he'll just lose pretty handily to Randy Brown. There won't be a knockout because, again, Nicholas Dalby, tough as nails, even at 40 years old. But I think Randy Brown, I mean, how old is Randy Brown now? 34. A little bit outside of his prime, but still enough in his prime that he gets the dub over Nicholas Dalby here at welterweight. Next fight is Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Michel Pereira, 31-12. Damn, that is a crazy record. Dude fought in Road FC too. But he's only 31 years old. Guys got 43 fights and he's 31. Jeez. Minus 165 is the favorite. 6'1", 73-inch reach. Abus Magomedov, 27-6-1. 3-2 in his last 5. Fighting out of Germany. 34 years old, 6'2", 78-inch reach. Let's check out Avis Magomedov subbing Bruno Ferreira. Why is everyone just whooping up on poor Warley Alves? I mean, geez, 10 months ago. Loses to Kyle Braulio and Sean Strickland. He gets knocked out by. Before that, he got a knockout over Dustin Stoltzfus. Pereira gets the splitty over Ponzi scheme. Knocks out Petrosky. Subs Oleksiejczuk. Subs Ihor Peteria. And then he gets TKO'd due to pretty much exhaustion. In that, I think it was a main event, right? Against Fluffy Hernandez. So Michel Pereira, a decent welterweight, but an even better middleweight. I'm glad he's finally getting not just a body. Like, if you check out his winning streak at middleweight, I mean, Petrosky, Oleksiejczuk, and Ihor Peteria, very middle of the road guys. Abus Magomedov is like just above that middle tier guy. So they're giving Michel Pereira a decent test and his, comeback, a guy on a 2-fight winning streak. The only way that he really loses this fight is if he just completely gasses out. I mean, if Sean Strickland can knock out Abus Magomedov, you'd think Michel Pereira can do it. If he was to do it, it'd be in the first or second round. Very explosive guy. But I do worry about that. You might think that Abus Magomedov can grind out the last 2 rounds against Michel Pereira. But for my money, I'm going Michel Pereira. Get it done in the second round. Return to form. He's 31, man. It's crazy to think Michel Pereira is only 31. But to be honest, in fight years, like, is he really 31? First round KO? Dude, I'm tempted to pick first round as well. If he doesn't knock him out, I'm going early second round. Dude looks 41. I know, right? 51. Stoked to see Michelle fight live, hoping for some wacky stuff. The thing is he kind of toned that wacky stuff down, right? But middleweight is a better weight class for him to kind of do some of that crazy stuff that he used to do. Yeah, I'm going Michel Pereira knockout second round. I think first round is totally reasonable. But if you are going to pick Abus Magomedov, I would go by decision. So yeah, we'll move on. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama at featherweight. Giga Chikadze 15-4. He is 3-2 in his last 5, plus 150 as the underdog. 36 years old from Georgia. No, not the state, the country. 6 foot tall. Is he 6 foot tall? I don't think he is. 74 inch reach. David Onama 13-2, 4-1 in his last 5, minus 185 as the favorite. Fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri. 30 years old. This is a weird fight, right? I mean, you mean David Onama now on a 3-fight winning streak? Roberto Romero, Jonathan Pierce, Gabriel Santos. His last loss was to Nate Landwehr by majority decision. It's a weird fight, man, because Giga was looking good. Knocking out Cub Swanson, knocking out Barboza. And then what happened was Calvin Kattar got Max Holloway'd. And then Calvin Kattar had a long layoff, fights Giga Chikadze, and then he Holloway's Giga. Just beats the absolute dog shit out of him for, I think it was a 5-round fight. Giga didn't do shit, and he got dog walked the whole time, dude. It was brutal, honestly. It was crazy to see that happen. And then he gets a dub over Alex Caceres, loses to Arnold Allen. So I think what we've kind of learned about Giga, who was a kickboxer before UFC, but like literally everybody else for some reason. If he doesn't get that Giga kick, the body shot KO, he gets out wrestled or he just gets kind of worked by a higher level guy. Obviously, this is a step back from some of his recent fights. The guy's 36. I'm picking David Onama here to grind out a decision. over Giga Chikadze. I don't think that Giga really has it at the high level anymore. Now, David Onama, is he like the high level of the featherweight division? No. This is him trying to break into that spot. And actually, David Onama, I mean, the guy's been fighting for quite a while. He's 30. That's why I'm picking David Onama to get a decision. I don't think he has been in some damn good fights. I honestly don't think this one's going to be that competitive. I think David Onama is going to grapple with him, and that's Giga's biggest weakness. If David Onama throws the game plan out the window like he's Michael Chandler fighting, pick anybody, then there's a chance that Giga could get the dub. But yeah, I got David Onama to get this one done by decision. Onama training with D. James Cross. Does anyone train with James Cross anymore? I thought he wasn't training anymore. But anyway, I thought he wasn't a coach anymore. And then we've got Anthony Smith versus Mingyang Zhang in the co-main event. This is Nick, his favorite fighter in the world, Anthony Smith. 205. Lionheart Anthony Smith. 37-21. 37-21 his record. Dude, the guy almost has 60 almost has 60 fights, 58. God damn, dude. Anthony Smith, 2-3 in his last 5. He is plus 380 as the underdog. 36 years old from Omaha, Nebraska. That's another guy at 36, but he's like 50 in fight. He's like 60 in fight years. 6'4", 76-inch reach, trading out of Factory X. Mingyang Zhang, 18-6, minus 530 as the favorite out of China, 26 years old. So Mingyang Zhang, he knocks out Ozzy Diaz, Brenson Ribeiro, and then he wins the road to the UFC. Before that, he was just fighting on the Chinese regional, which I'm always very suspicious of the Chinese regional scene because you never know what fights are rigged and what ones aren't. But Anthony Smith beats Ryan Spann, gets knocked out by Khalil. Then he beats Arbitrino, and we know who saw that one coming. Loses to Roman Dolidze by decision, and then he gets knocked out by Dom Reyes. Here's the thing. I'm picking Mingyang Zhang by knockout in the first round. But Anthony Smith can win this fight, man. He can win this fight. 100%. If he can evade the striking of Mingyang Zhang and outvet him, start grappling him. Because Mingyang Zhang has really only been fighting like guys that want to stand up with him. Anthony Smith has incredible striking for about 2 minutes. And then it just all goes out the window. He could totally win this fight, dude. If he just grinds out a decision, pulls out every trick in the book, he could definitely get it done. But the days of Anthony Smith fighting are numbered, and I think he gets destroyed here in the first round. But who knows? Yeah, give me Mingyang Zhang by knockout. I think most of my homies are going to be picking that as well. Cross is doing online training now. Omaha's third best. The tweaker that broke in submit. Wow. You're attacking my family. It looks 55. That tweaker was a state wrestling champion. Chances are he won't. But wouldn't it be great? No, I would hate if Anthony Smith won, honestly. All right, man. Main event time. Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates. Ian Gary, 15-1, 4-1 in his last 5. His only loss is a Shavkat Rakhmonov by decision. Minus 125 as the favorite. He is 27 years old from Ireland. 6'3", 74.5 inches out of Killcliff FC. Carlos Prates, 21-6, but 5-0 in his last 5. This is a pick'em. 31, 6'1", 78-inch reach. Man, what a fight. 2 hot prospects in the welterweight division. Man. Ian Gary, man. taking this on short notice, fought Shavkat Rakhmonov on short notice. No matter what you think about Ian Gary, I mean, the guy's really annoying in interviews. But this guy he wants all the smoke, bro. You take on Carlos Prates on short notice, dude. The guy is just murking everybody. If we look at his record here, knocks out Magny, Jing Liang, the Leech, Radke, Trevin Giles, Mitch Ramirez. That's a sick UFC run. I mean, for literally only getting in a year and a half ago, dude, what a fucking run that this fucking guy is on. But Charles Radke is really the only like prospect that he took on in the last 2 years. Trevin Giles was definitely not, and he had his day. Still a young guy, but we've seen the best of Trevin Giles. Jing Liang was coming off of back surgery when he fought him, and then Neil Magny he's pretty washed at this point. But if you knock Neil Magny out, that means something, you know. Ian Gary knocks out D-Rod, goes to decision with Neil Magny, beats Jeff Neal by split, and then he beats Michael Venom Page by decision. And then really his best win was the loss against Shavkat. Made Shavkat look human. There's some rumors that maybe Shavkat was injured. Man, this is a tough one. I'm pretty sure. I mean, look, I'm picking Ian Gary to win by decision. It's 5 rounds. Carlos Prates smoking them darts all the time. I don't even know if that's going to factor in too much. I think the guy says he smokes like a pack a day or like something like that. It's like, damn, that's crazy. But this is always going to be the analysis when you pick a Carlos Prates fight, right? Like, he's going 5 rounds. He smokes cigarettes. I understand. And I think Nick kind of broke it down really good. Either going to be a boring grappling fest by Ian or fight of the year. I don't think it's going to be fight of the year. I really don't have any confidence in Carlos Prates in this fight. I'm surprised it's a pick him. It is on short notice, but is anyone else surprised this is a pick him? Like, literally, Prates comes from Muay Thai. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, this ain't a Muay Thai fight, though. This is an MMA fight. And Ian Gary has excellent ground game. It didn't look that great against MVP, but Ian Gary, the reason that he's going to win this fight is because he's so good at slowing down the pace of the fight, making you fight the fight he wants you to fight. I don't know, man. To me, this is the easy pick. Oddmakers are expecting Ian to wrestle. I feel like because Carlos Prates, like, here, you know what we need to do? Hold on, let me save these picks. Here's what we need to do. UFCstats.com. Here's what we need to do. We need to check out some stats. Talk about fighting nerds. We need to get into the nerd part of this is the real MMA math right here. We need to look at some stats here. All right. So on the left is Ian Gary. On the right is Carlos Prates. Strikes landed per minute, both of them about the same. So think about that, right? Like four strikes landed a minute. Not a very high pace. And then if you look at this, Carlos Prates absorbs more strikes per minute than he lands. Striking accuracy about the same, and their defense is about the same, but strikes absorbed per minute, Ian Gary is absorbing half the strikes that half in relation to what he puts out. Carlos Prates doesn't. He's not a very high volume striker. Okay, so he's kind of just gonna wait for that perfect shot, which he, by the way, finds more often than not. And then, as you said, the odds makers are expecting Ian to wrestle. The guy only shoots not even a takedown per 15 minutes. And then Carlos Prates, somehow he has a takedown percentage. I don't think I've ever seen him. He's 100% on the takedowns, 91% takedown defense. Ian Gary lands about half the strikes, or sorry, the takedowns that he attempts per 15 minutes. And then he's going to attempt maybe one submission in this fight. So I am going to predict it'll be not a boring grappling fest by Ian, but like a technical chess match. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that Carlos Prates really wins, in my opinion, is just by landing that big shot. This is a tough one to pick, though. I think it's going to go the distance. So maybe check out the odds on it going the distance. Might be your best bet here. Betting on this one's hard. You can't really get a good money line on either guy. You have to bet quite a bit to get some good money back. But again, if we're going technical chess match versus a guy that's not much of a grappler versus Ian Gary, who is very well rounded, I'm going Ian Gary all day. So yeah, that's what I got here. Let me know who you guys are picking, Prates or Ian Gary. But Ian Soy Chin. Well, hold up. Fighting nerds are hot. They are. Rumor is Kyle versus Hamzat for the belt. You guys hear that? I don't react to rumors. I just wait till shit gets announced. But yeah, I did see that Drickus pulled out with an injury, or he's injured. But I heard that not even that is like 100% confirmed. Maybe they're just kind of waiting to do it at a later date. Again, I don't really react to rumors. But Kyle Baralio versus Hamzat, interim title. That's a really good fight. It's a fantastic fight, actually. But yeah, man, that's the picks. Let me know what you guys think. Driscus has a torn. He almost got me there. All right, let me know. One more time, guys. Please join the Tapology League. Again, winner of the Tapology League is going to get some money. I think I'm going to do a live chat tomorrow. We'll talk about everything else going on the weekend. I'll get that scheduled. Let me see if anyone... I'll post the I don't think anyone's really going to watch this after the fact, but I'll post the Tapology League in the comments after the video is over. But yeah, man, what are you guys thinking about this card? Let me know your picks, blah, blah, blah. Drop them in the comments. Oh, look who it is. It's Nick. Nick I'm accepting his request to join the Tapology League. Cool, man. So how many members is that officially? We got 14 people in there. Let's go. There we go. That's a way better name. Word. I'm out. Cool. DDP hurt when he has to fight and loose. Thank you. Thought I joined already. Yeah, for sure, man. Hopefully a lot of Shadow Realm tourists on this card. I agree. I am hoping for the same. It's a good card on paper, but it doesn't always translate. Like when you have a lot of high level names, it doesn't always translate to like lots of finishes. Yeah, it's already in. He already made his picks. All right, boys. That's about it for me, man. Do a live chat tomorrow. Talk about everything else going on the weekend. Just bullshit with the people. I'm off tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm gonna be doing a fight companion, man. I got some things to take care of this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, that's it for me, guys. I gotta get out of here. It's about time to wrap it up.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Man, you want some too? You better wrap it up. You better wrap that gavel up, B.
I don't give a fuck if the decision's rigged!